Be free to free me. This is who I am. This is who I am now. This is who I am. This is who I am now.
I can hear you singing, Paul.
I love this song.
Oh my gosh. What's up, everybody?
Howdy, howdy.
There it is.
There it is. Oh,
Nope,
there
it is.
Peekaboo.
Hey. Getting it ready here. Getting the stream ready.
Happy Monday, man.
Happy Monday. Hey, if you're tuning in, guys, we're getting ready to go live. So post in the comments where you're watching from. Let us know. Say hello. Share those portfolios. What else? Ask us questions.
Ask us questions.
Let us know what you're up to this week. We got some fun stuff coming here. I don't remember what I was doing, though, Paul. I was doing something. I was going to send an email out.
Email.
All right.
We love to give stuff away on this show. The background is Derek's a graphic designer. You're probably connected with him somehow since you're here watching. And I work with business development, how to help businesses create even more revenue by focusing on their people ahead of their profits. So if that's something that you're interested in, how to have a little bit more motivation to grow your practice, to grow the number of clients that you're working with, to reach more people with your work, then this is the show for you. So excited. We are streaming on Behance, on YouTube. Where are we? Where else? Are we on Facebook today?
We are not on Facebook today. They changed some settings. So
yeah, see you later, Mark.
See you later.
Peace out.
Bye, Felicia.
No love lost.
So yeah, YouTube and Behance right now are the best ways to catch us. Do you have Behance pulled up? Can you see the chat?
I do.
Awesome.
Wherever you're watching from, we love to know where you're tuning in from. And this is part of our service to the world, our global community, is to be able to help people out in their lives and their relationships and in their businesses. So please let us know where you're tuning in from. Put it down in the chat roll. If you're new, put down in there that you're new. We love meeting new people all around the world in this beautiful community.
Fun stuff. I'm currently getting an email out to everybody. So if I look like I'm really focused, it's because I am.
Your focus face.
Focus face. Real focused face. I tell my wife when I'm coding, I go to code mode.
Yeah.
Totally zone out. My computer's a little grumpy. I restarted it, but it's making me nervous here.
Is it? I'm kind of watching my video feed, and I'm like, oh, it might be a sticky situation
Is it sticky?
today.
Do we need to like restart or just roll it?
I don't know.
I
think we're gonna roll with it.
I always feel like I'm defusing a bomb where like the countdown's going, and I'm like, oh, I gotta get all these things out so people can see it.
Blue wire, red wire, blue wire, red wire,
I know.
blue wire, red wire. One of my buddies was a bomb tech in Iraq.
Dude, that's really cool. Hurt Locker?
Yeah. Haven't seen it. Probably won't.
Probably. I remember thinking it was good, but honestly, it's been a long time ago.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just taking a pass on a lot of those movies. There's too much other stuff that I want to learn and want to see.
Yeah, good for you, man.
Welcome to Moto Monday. We're going to get started here in a little over 5 minutes. This is a great opportunity for you to drop in the chat where you're tuning in from. We're going to be covering some pretty fun topics today. Do you want to hang out in your comfort zone, or do you want to learn how to create some confidence? It might sound a little bit easier said than done. Well, you're right. That's always an observation you can make. We're going to be talking about ways that you can increase that confidence instead of just having some hyperbole around it, some like philosophical ideas. Now we're wanting to give you the tactics, those tips, those techniques to really grow your contribution to the world through your art as a graphic designer. I'm really glad that you got the playlist dialed in.
We're getting better, man. I'm going to add a few more, mix it up. I'm making a new intro video for the live streams. Not for this one. But I mean, I guess we can do a new one on this one. But yeah, some new drone footage, all kinds of fun stuff. I figure it's spring, we can get rid of the snow.
Yeah.
All right.
It looks like I have like a 20-second delay with my feed right now.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Do you want to restart the feed? Should we restart it?
How about I drop and then I'll come back in and we'll see what happens.
All right, we'll drop you.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
Trying to get your attention, you make me nervous. In the corner of my best friend's sofa, you were getting buzzed on rum and cola. Wasn't brave enough yet just to talk to you. Not a smooth talker under pressure. Sweaty palms ain't making it much better. Something about you feels so special. Met the other night, but I can't get you off my mind. Not a smooth talker under pressure.
All right.
Ain't making it much better. Something about you feels so special. Pretty ugly from the minute that I met you.
He's back.
Hey,
there we go.
It's a lot better. There we go.
I was slightly panicking there for a minute. It wouldn't let me let you back into the green room. It was being really weird.
Good time at the time. You're like a bomb tech right now.
I'm a bomb tech.
Seconds,
dude, 90 seconds. That's all day. Oh, that's so much. That's so much time.
Right?
All right. What's up, everybody? Hey, say hello in the chat. I don't see the chat yet. Do you see the chat?
I had to like force close all of my.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Boom. There you are. I see you. I see you. Tuning. Can't. Boom.
This is another one of those really good songs. Like, really make you feel good.
Right? Yeah, my computer's real glitchy right now. It's all right, though.
All the wind.
All the wind? No joke. Away. Yeah, right? All right, let's
Looks
do
like
the thing.
we've got the YouTube link in case something funky happens on Behance. Just jump over and join us on YouTube.
All right. All right. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to Moto Monday. If you're new here, my name is Derek Mitchell. I'm a creative director and a graphic designer, and we're doing all kinds of fun things today with my good friend Paul. And forgive me, there's a little bit of some tech glitches going on right now, but it's going to be a fun show. I'm going to go ahead and bring you up, Paul. Paul is a good dude. That's my new go-to because he does so many amazing things. He's a Mustang Marine. He's a personal development and success coach. He works in organizational development. Currently has all kinds of incredible projects teed up and in queue. So, Paul, thanks for being here today. Thanks for being with us. Yeah, man, what do you got? What do you got for us today? What are we doing?
Smokes. You know, it's wild with a lot of the country reopening. There's a lot of people talking about, they're not comfortable or they are comfortable. And, I got to thinking about, with client work, when you have some of those pangs in your stomach, you feel like your stomach's twisted in knots and you're like, well, I've got to push myself out of my comfort zone. And I started thinking, well, what about if we just eliminate the comfort zone?
There you go.
Then we would need to grow and stretch ourselves out of the comfort zone. This is something we've talked about in our own work, supporting and helping each other grow. And I thought that would just be a good place, mix up the format a little bit more today.
Yeah, I love it.
Have a little bit more of a conversation with you about this, and then answer some questions, give some stuff away. Which
reminds me, the last giveaway I did, I've got a couple more people to let into the group. Jenna usually handles that for me. Jenna's my wife / project manager. And so some of you guys had a giveaway from last week, and I'll get those to you, and I apologize. But today, hey, if it's your first time, stay tuned, engage in that chat. We've got some courses to give away, some freebies, some fun stuff. So definitely let us know you're here, say hello, let us know where you're watching from, and it should be a good show.
And a little bit of a different show, especially if you're hanging out on Behance. We're not getting into the technicality of all things Adobe today.
Right.
We're talking about some more of the human elements behind the program. You're that human element of how do you work through productivity and confidence and clarity and managing your energy and getting the gumption to go solicit clients so you can get your work out into the world.
Right.
And so let's talk about how you can do that by changing the words that you're using in your own life. When I got started in this industry, I started looking at, well, this is going to be hard. I don't know about how to do marketing or have a sales conversation, and that's going to be hard.
Yeah.
Hard is a comfort-based word, isn't it?
Interesting. Yeah.
If you think about it.
Yeah, because it gives you the excuse if you don't succeed at whatever you're doing. We would say the word try, which Paul and I have talked about in the past, and trying to do something. But when you say something's hard, it almost gives you an out. Like, oh, well, it's hard, so it's okay if I don't do well at it. By the way, hey, what's up, Chris, in the chat? I see you.
Hey, Chris. Howdy.
So, I mean, Chris, maybe you can post on something like that. Have you ever said, hey, that's hard, I can't do this? Sometimes it might be tough to admit, but that happens to me a lot. So I'm really excited to hear what you have to say about it today. Yeah,
well, let's just work with hard and easy, because those are the ends of the spectrum for this comfort-based language. And there's some synonyms. Maybe you're sophisticated and you say, well, this is difficult. This is going to be a trial by fire. You might have some very sophisticated ways to say hard or easy. It represents, really, when we stop and think about this, the level of proficiency, how familiar this task, this event, this conversation is in your life. And let's put this to the test. What's something that you're facing that is hard right now?
Oh man, life, everything. Are you asking me
you've got a lot of irons in the fire.
Yeah. So, I've got these live streams here with Behance. We've got courses that I produce and students that I'm wanting to get back to and falling behind on. My wife is pregnant. We're going to have a new baby here in more like 4 weeks tops, closer to probably 2 weeks from now, we'll have a new baby in the house. Right. So there's that element of it. And then my wife and I both recently started full-time jobs in January. So I'm back at it. I guess you say back in the saddle. So I've got lots of expectations with my work. So there's a lot of things. And then that doesn't even get to the fact that I've got other kids in the house also, where they're at school right now, but there's, getting them up in the morning. And that's hard sometimes when you're depending on, it's easy. I don't want to say it's easy for you, Paul. This is where we get into easy and hard. But when you wake up, for the most part, you pretty much only have to worry about yourself. Maybe your puppy and, maybe your girlfriend or whatever. But I've got a household filled with women,
Right.
who I've got to get them up and out of the house on time. And sometimes it's beyond my control whether they respond with they're up and they're happy or they're upset because they're tired, And so that can be difficult not having that predictability, because sometimes you just don't know, right?
Right. And to clarify, Derek doesn't have like a harem. The women he's speaking of is his wife and his 4 daughters.
Yeah. So, there you go. Thanks for clarifying that. Yeah.
If you're new here.
That alternate lifestyle, what? No.
Absolutely. Well, and you bring up a really good point, because when we start then looking at hard or easy, then it opens up the door for this comfortable comparison for somebody else's life.
Yeah.
Well, you think you have it tough, Paul.
Right.
Check out what you think you've got it tough, like head of country, head of state, head of town, head of business. Like in the middle of this pandemic, we're missing an opportunity as a global community to come together to navigate this challenge. And we're going into this place of fracturing, saying, well, you think you have it tough. I have it harder. Well, you think that was easy for you. That's not easy for me. And it's not going to unify any group of people when we get into this place of comfortability comparison. We can make that a term now, right?
Sure. I mean,
hashtag.
Hashtag for sure. Yeah. No, I think that's good. And it's so easy to do. And I literally just did that, like partly in jest, but
right.
But maybe not. Like there's those thoughts of like, man, it must be nice. You only having to take care of yourself or whatever.
Right.
And on the flip side, I'm sure there's lots of other things you could say. Wow, it must be nice, whatever, So
yeah,
it's a really slippery slope. That paired with the word hard, that's hard and something we could focus on today. So what do you do with that? Like, how do you? Like, I know usually you're a big fan of frameworks, or I mean, you are, the 1, 2, and 3, steps ABC, like what?
Right.
So what is your approach with that?
I would say to jump into a framework, step 1, I think we'll use the ABCs. We'll just I wanted to just have a conversation, but we can make a framework up on the fly.
We don't have to. That's what I'm asking. Like, do you have
one?
I mean, I just want to have a conversation. Let's do it.
No, let's do it. The ABCs of how to create more confidence. I'll be your Huckleberry.
Such a professional.
This will be easy.
Okay. All right. Yes.
So the A is awareness. Awareness. What are the words that you are using to describe your interaction with the world around you? Whether it's some sort of skill, it's some sort of conversation, it's some sort of event, it's some sort of relationship. What is the language you're using? Are you living in this land of hard and easy? Or are there other synonyms? Or do you have a different way that you're looking at the world? And so that first step is the awareness in your language, because in that place, you cease being the reader of the story of your life and you start stepping into being the author. You get to choose your destiny. You don't have to surrender to fate.
And another analogy that I've heard you use before when you were up here in Montana was being in the driver's seat, right? Driver's seat language versus passenger seat language. So, right, with that meaning when you're the driver, you have some control. When you're the passenger, you're along for the ride, right?
It's so true. You, depending on the driver, you might be able to turn on the radio or turn on the AC. Not in my car. All of that gets controlled by the driver.
Yeah, right.
And Chris is saying, are these the words in your mind? At times, Chris, and thanks so much for the question. At times, these are the words in your mind. The thing is, you think about a cajillion thoughts a second. I think it's somewhere
That's
around
a very
like
scientific number.
Seven thoughts per second. You have these thoughts happening so quickly. Could you be aware of saying that something is hard or easy if it's only in your mind? Yes, it's possible. One of the things that helps out is your mind slows down for the words coming out of your mouth. So if you can first start listening to these words coming out of your mouth, then that can increase your awareness to what's happening in your mind. Let me know if that answers your question here, Chris.
You know, it's interesting. So you and I have been reading The Science of Getting Rich right now as a book we're going through. And that's one of the major components it talks about is your mind. And that's so, it's interesting. It's like when you buy a new car, you see that same car everywhere. And so because we're reading this book, I'm seeing so many, whether it's a post, which, tangent we'll get to later. I'm not on Instagram and Facebook right now, but I've been on TikTok a little bit, and I saw so many posts about like what you're thinking and what you will gravitate towards is what you're letting into your mind, right? And you could even say garbage in, garbage out. If it's bad code coming into the computer, it's gonna be bad code going out of the computer. If you're ingesting garbage, whether it's news or social posts, that's what you're gonna manifest coming out, right? And so it's interesting that you're saying that as you're thinking these thoughts and catching the words you're saying, being self-aware, you can then change what you're saying, which can change your thoughts, which can change your approach to things, and which can change ultimately what you do in life. It could be, you know, from the little things you do every day to the longer term things like what house you eventually get or what you do as a career. I mean, there's so many ways we can take this, but it's so interesting. This, I guess I'm processing what you're saying as you're coming through, and it's just so cool to see all these different things that align, right? And it's like, okay, this is awesome. This is awesome. This feels like now I'm in the driver's seat. I have control. Right. Things aren't just happening to me, right? And it might feel hard, but okay, what does that really mean? And how can I change my approach and my viewpoint of that? It's just, I don't know. I know I'm talking a lot here, but I love
what you're saying because it for me, like we're building this framework on the fly right now. And that helps inform like what are those specific tips and tactics that can help you. You know, the way I like to think about this is your mind kind of has a few different parts. Like there's the brain part, like the soft tissue that's in there. That's what I call the brain. And then there's like these two parts of your mind. There's the thoughts that just come in that you weren't aware of. And then there's the thoughts that you want to stay there. And so there's a filtering process. And I don't really have a different name for that besides like brain is the physical object. Mind is all of the magic that happens within that soft pink gray tissue.
Gray or pink? I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know.
So, you know, I think this is so good. And one thing I want to take a step back, especially because we're streaming on Behance right now. And we do have some new people I see here this week. So just to reframe this. So I've grown up in my, let's try this again. In my adult career, since I've been married, I've been basically a freelance graphic designer. That's what I've done for a career and a web developer. And so there's been so many ups and downs in my career trying to learn how to not only be good at my art, but also convince somebody to pay me to do that and learn how to be a business, dealing with taxes, dealing with business expenses, dealing with software updates, and still trying to produce a good product, right? So I'm coming at everything we talk about from that perspective of how can I do a better job for my customer, right? And Paul's background as a Mustang Marine, he's led, he has served in such an amazing capacity. And he's taking those skill sets that he's learned and applying them to businesses like mine and helping us learn how to be better in our business, right? How to do things with excellence, how to keep those promises when you tell a client, hey, I will get this done for you at a certain point. Paul helps us with these frameworks and how to just love your life, live a good life, and then do what you do with excellence, right? So that's this whole motivation, Moto Monday, as we call it. That's where this comes from. So if you have questions about that, definitely post in the chat as we go. Today's a little bit more of a free form, which is why I'm talking more than usual, because usually I hide in the background and let Paul spin his magic. And he thought it'd be a good idea to bring me up side by side with him today. So that's what we're doing.
Let's have a conversation. Yeah. You know, and you think about all of those things that you faced at the beginning of your career, and you watching from home, maybe some of what Derek's talking about resounds with you. You're new to the graphic design industry. Maybe you're new to technology. Maybe, you know, some of the people that tune in say that, you know, I was in the industry 30 years ago when we were still developing film for photographs. Do you remember those days?
Some of those guys.
You take it, you got to make sure it doesn't like get any light, and then you got to put it in the envelope and drop it off at the store and hope that everything turns out well.
Yep.
You know?
Oh man.
So wherever you are in your career, or you're at in your life, this awareness can help you out by taking a look at, well, you know what? Marketing is hard. Sales is hard. Finding clients is hard. And if you say that, it kind of is a dead end with your language. Yep, it's hard. Okay, that's it. Well, what are you going to do? Well, I'm going to try. I'm going to try to do the thing that's hard.
Yep.
Okay. How? Well, I'm going to go do stuff. And if that doesn't work, then I'll try something else because it's hard. And this first step, this A for awareness, there's a bridge before we even get into
is that the B?
To the choice. Well, a little bit. I would say the bridge is in your breath. And think about like some of these beautiful bridges. I love looking at bridges, but not from like on the bridge. I love going underneath the bridge and seeing like how does it support the weight of the vehicles and the pressure of the wind. And, you know, we can put like 20 semis on it, and it's going to be indiscernible to see like the flexing of the bridge. It blows my mind. Your breath can support the weight of whatever it is that you're facing. But think about your breath. Are you running like a super shallow bridge, like this little itty bitty baby breath? If you breathe like that, you activate the part of your brain that increases your fear response. It decreases your ability to think clearly or strategically. It really gets into this fight, flight, freeze. So when you build one of those bridges that has like the arches and like the suspension, and you really take some time to bring that awareness to your breath, that you're setting yourself up for success.
Yeah, that's
and
good.
That breath, it's in through the nose. And then I like to just, sometimes I push it out through my mouth. Other times I'll just exhale through my nose. Let's go out through the mouth today. And in this breath, you're taking time from what you were aware of. You know what? I heard myself saying something was easy. I heard myself saying something was hard, or one of their synonyms. This is going to be a cakewalk. This is going to be a breeze. This is going to be a pain in the keister. This is going to be whatever that is, you know? And so you hear that and immediately go into a breath. Let's do one more together. In through the nose, out through the mouth.
That almost made me yawn.
Right?
Oh, man.
Yeah. A lot of the world right now is in this fear response between what they see on the media, between what they see with this pandemic, what they've experienced within their lives, their businesses. People have lost loved ones. People have not been able to see loved ones because of this pandemic. So there is a fear that is happening for all people. It's that some people are aware of it and are willing to breathe through it. That awareness and that breathing allows you to come up to the C, which is to make that choice with your words. So like Derek mentioned, we're studying this book, The Science of Getting Rich. And he and I go back and forth with book recommendations. And one of the things that if we look at the self-help, personal development, self-development industry, you know, about 100 years ago, there was a lot of titles like Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, As a Man Thinketh by James Allen, The Power of Positive Thinking. Is that Norman Vincent Peale? Oh,
there's so many good ones
on that one.
Yeah, if you wouldn't have asked me, I would have told you exactly.
Right. Yeah. So there's a lot of awareness around the power of the mind to help you achieve what it is you want. And that's really nice if you have that positive mindset. But if you're living in the land of this is hard, I should be able to be more successful right now. I have to get this project done. I must get the kids to school. Well, how in the holy are you going to be able to turn your mind from that negative, that frantic, that anxious energy into something that's positive, uplifting, aligned with your goals and your hopes and your dreams? And I think about like, have you watched Moana?
Yeah. I've got 4 daughters.
I love that film. I
Yeah.
have not been able to watch that without crying once because it's such a great story of like, go after what you believe in yourself, have somebody else believe in you and see what you can achieve. But I think about
You
when,
know what movie did that for me? Oh, sorry. Keep going.
which
Keep
one?
going. No, keep
Which
oh,
one? We're gonna keep going? Let's take the tangent.
Oh my gosh. The circus one. Oh my gosh. With, Hugh Jackman. Oh,
The
my
Greatest Showman.
gosh. Yes. That one was pivotal for us. Oh my gosh. That one just hit Jen and I hard for lots of different reasons. But you were about to say Moana, the paddle, the oar.
Moana. When she's like getting ready to steer and she shoves that paddle into the ocean and cranks on it and allows that ship to just flip right around.
Yeah.
Well, for your mind, it's going in this track because it's used to thinking a certain way. It's used to thinking that things are hard. It's used to thinking of all the things you have to do, you must do, you should do. For some of you, your mind might be in this place of familiarity, of lacking confidence, lacking clarity in your decisions. And what you can do is use your language, like Moana's paddle, like pop that puppy in the water, like wrench on it, and like you'll be able to flip around, flip your mind. And that's the power of your words. Your words serve as a rudder to steer your mind. And then with the input back from what your mind is saying, then you can adjust the steering with your language. The language informs the mind and the mind informs the language. And please know, please know, everything I'm saying is supported with the latest research of neuroscience and other sciences that I study. This is not my good ideas. This is not just like, well, this divine message came to me. No. I can support every single thing I'm saying. So you use your language as that rudder. So this is where we have this choice in today's framework. Thank you so much for that opportunity. As we look at what hard or easy represent. Let's go back to your example, Derek. At the beginning of my career, there was the sales that were hard. There was the getting the clients that were hard. And you listed a few of the marketing that was hard.
I mean, technology updates and break stuff. Hard drives fail. People not paying their invoices on time. People saying they want to work with you and then they don't.
Likes, right?
Even maybe everything's great, but then now it's time to do the work and you don't feel like it. Or you don't have those creative ideas. Or you have the creative ideas. Now you're not sure how to get them into Photoshop and actually into a project that works. Like, there's just so many hurdles. It's exhausting, especially when you're just getting started.
Right. And that would feel hard because that's the way that your mind was used to thinking about these different events, different opportunities, different situations, different conversations. Now that you're like, 20 plus years into this.
I thought you were going to say 20 plus years old. And I was like, oh, you're so kind. No. Anyway, you were saying now that I'm 20 plus years into this.
Now that you're 20 plus years into this.
Yes.
Is working with a crashed hard drive hard?
No, it's because I've got backups on backups and I've learned from my mistakes, or maybe not even my mistakes, but just the process. Right.
What about getting clients?
That's easier.
Easier.
It's still, you still struggle with that. And again, it's easier because now I'm at the top of the list, at least, right? Versus an unknown nobody. Right.
And if we look at this, that you at one point were unknown, you maybe even felt like you were a nobody, and maybe you watching this at home has felt this as well. Well, you can take these steps to move away from hard into easier. But if we do that, do you see how we're still hanging out in the comfort zone? That's bordered with hard and easy. It's like whatever direction we're going. Well, I've got to grow out of the comfort zone. I've got to push myself out of the comfort zone. Or you can just get rid of the damn zone.
There you go.
Get rid of it. When we think about what hard represents, what was the level of proficiency or familiarity that you had with any of those things that you listed?
There's a lot of unknown. I was very proficient in some ways, but the parts that were hard was that, connecting the dots between, okay, I know how to use Photoshop, but how do I get paid for it? And that how to get paid for it part, that was the hard part, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So proficiency was almost none because I either hadn't done it before or had only successfully done it a few times.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Now, you watching at home, please put in the chat roll. Think about this here. What is something that you have seen that was hard? And as you think about it right now, perhaps for the first time, you're recognizing that another way to accurately describe it was I had low to no proficiency in this event, in this conversation, with this piece of software, in dealing with this crisis, in working with this pandemic.
Yeah.
Right? Where was your level of proficiency? Typically, the word hard represents low to no proficiency. Now let's flip it to the other side of the border of this comfort zone. What about easy? The things that you say that are easier or easy today, what level of proficiency do you have with those events, situations, conversations?
Right. I mean, an example of this would be building a website for me using WordPress. I can spool up a website that looks pretty good and for all purposes is very pretty in a matter of 20 minutes. Right.
It's functional.
Yeah.
It's attractive.
Yeah.
It has the best practices.
Yeah.
You know where to click and like
fast.
the shortcuts and
Yeah. And that's like, oh, it's easy. You know, oh, it's easy. You can fix it. Oh yeah, it's easy. And it's just, it's pretty technical, but I've just done it so many times.
Right.
Yeah. It makes a difference.
So you're speaking to that proficiency. High level of proficiency is this word that we say is easy. Now, how many times by not doing something that was easy did that sabotage a project, sabotage a relationship, sabotage a client because you missed something that was easy?
Say that again. Say that again. So how many times
something goes off the rails,
even though it should have been easy to do?
It was right. It's just like, well, that was so easy. How did I miss that? And well, that was so easy.
Yeah.
How did I not follow through with that? That was so easy.
Yeah.
But some of those easy pieces that
I think you get into basically autopilot, right? It's like when you drive somewhere and then, you maybe get a couple miles down the road and you're like, well, I don't remember the last couple miles of road here. I was in deep thought and I might have even gone through some red lights. I have no idea.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's because you get into autopilot mode. And so another tangent here. So last night I got my laptop out and opened up Logic Pro, and I've got a special MIDI cable to hook up to the piano here in the house. And I'm learning how to produce music. And I've been a musician for most of my life. I play guitar and drums and bass. I played trumpet in middle school. So I'm proficient in music, but I'm not proficient in the piano, like at all. And so during the pandemic, I've been forcing myself to learn chords and just kind of noodle around with stuff. And I'm loving it. But my brain, especially once I start adding my left hand to the bass notes, it's like everything. Yeah. And so, but what I love about it is because I've been doing so much of what is easy and just massively in this rut of survival, basically, like doing what brings in money and provides for our family and doing what gets my kids out the house on time. So there's been very little room for hobbies. There's been very little room for exploring new things. And so last night I was like, I've got a million other things I should be doing, right? Which is a topic we've talked about, using the word should in our vocabulary. A million other things that I could be doing right now. I'm going to go play the piano. I'm going to go fool around with this. And I had a ton of fun. But more importantly, what I discovered in doing this, one is, the joy goes up, the smile comes on your face, right? But also there's this new level of learning, like when you're watching a little kid learn something. And it was just like, it was forcing my brain to wake up and shake off some of the dust, I feel like. So I don't know if you want to take that, but I had a ton of fun playing around with that last night.
We can roll with it. Let's give a shout out to some comments here. Chris Moreno. Okay. So should we speak as if something is easy, even if we have low proficiency? We're going to get into that in just 1 second. Diana Kemp, that's so cool. I was just thinking I want to learn the piano. Watch Beth Hart. She's amazing.
Awesome. So what I did during Black Friday, there were so many sales on software and subscriptions, and I got this subscription to an app called Tabs.
Oh, okay.
I'll pull it up. Tabs. Anyway, and so you can even sync it with, like I synced it with Spotify. I don't know if it syncs with Apple Music, but any song you can imagine, is available. And so that's how I'm forcing myself, because it's got pictures of the key of the shapes of the chords for the piano or the guitar. Yeah. And then there was another guy I started watching on Skillshare. Some of my courses are on Skillshare. If you guys want to check that out, there I think is a link below in the video to get free access for 2 weeks. But anyway, I was checking out this guy and he taught this very, very simple principle. If you find your main note and then you count up 4 notes, 1, 2, 3, 4 is the next note, and then 1, 2, 3 is the next note to get a whole note. But if you drop that and flip it, so it's 3, 4, then it's a minor note. And once you learn that, then you know what your root is, and then you know every note on the piano. And I was like,
right.
Mind blown.
Right.
And so that's what I've been forced to. So I look at tabs, I find a song that's cool, and then I learn the 3 or 4 notes it takes to play that song, and then I just do it until it becomes muscle memory, until it becomes easy because of proficiency of doing that repetition.
Because of the proficiency of and you're there it is. Practice and repetition. Those 2 8-letter words are how you destroy your comfort zone. So you stop seeking out this comfortable life because of your comfortable language. You can have a confident life because you use confident language. So Chris, go on,
you're on a roll. I was just going to say, the other thing to think about, it might be easy to say, well, building this confidence, why start now? I'm already, 36. I'm already 40. I'm already 50 years old. Why would I even try to switch careers and be a graphic designer? I'm 50 years old.
Right.
I'm too old, whatever. You're not. The other thing is, how much life, I think Jim Rohn might've been talking about this. Like, how much life left do you think you have? Like, what if I started playing piano now and in 25 years from now, I'm still not that old and I could be incredibly proficient at it. Right. So start now, start today. Do it, Diane. Go play the piano.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Beth Hart. Yeah. Jeff Beck. Absolutely. Absolutely. So when we take a look, Chris, at how do we use our words to describe this? Well, sometimes we use a little bit more words so that we can accurately describe what's going on, because then it gives clues about where to go. So let me just pick something.
Well, do you want to give an example? Can we talk about your current application process and what you're doing in the 5-line? Does that roll into that, or is that different?
I don't want to start smooshing frameworks too much.
Okay.
So I'm applying to grad school right now. And there was part of me that was saying, well, this is hard. And I was like, awareness.
Right.
Taking some deep breaths and then choosing my language. So this is where that third step of choosing your language comes in.
Can we talk about where you're applying? It's a big deal. Can we go there? Can we pull back the curtain?
The push. Right now I've applied to Pepperdine in Malibu, California. And I'm applying to MIT right now in Boston.
And I think there was one more on the list that might get.
Yale is on the list, and we'll see. We'll see. There's some additional aspects of their application process that I'm not sure if I can align with the timelines.
Yeah.
So in this process of me applying to grad school, there were some times that I started thinking, this is hard. So I had that awareness.
Because it was. I mean, let's be honest.
But let's apply the framework to this.
Yeah, let's do it.
Because that's how I'm stepping through this right now. So I'm aware that I was thinking that it's hard. Took some breaths, thinking about taking those big breaths so that way I can reset my brain, and then choosing my language. This feels hard. Well, yes, because I am not proficient in applying to graduate school. Okay. Listen to this part. I'm not proficient in applying to graduate school. So if in the chat roll right now,
I want to give you room to get real.
Oh, we've got a wingspan now. Hang on, people. Hang on. We're about to take flight. If you heard me say that, I am not proficient in applying to graduate school, what would you say? Paul, you really should. Or Paul, you really could. Or if I was you, this is what I would recommend. Like, put it in the chat roll down below. Let me see when you hear me say, well, I don't have a high degree of proficiency of applying to graduate school. Let me see what kind of love we've got here. Diane, Chris, or any of you other beautiful people, what would you say to something like that? This is hard. Or like, because that kind of deadens the conversation. Well, this is hard. Oh, yeah, that does sound hard. That sounds almost impossible to get into MIT. I don't have a high degree of proficiency in applying to MIT. Diane says, 2 different environments there, Pepperdine and MIT. Oh, yeah.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, board shorts probably in the school if you're down in Malibu, and then probably wearing a pea coat if you're up in Boston, just because it's cold.
That probably makes the decision pretty easy.
Okay, and here it is. Look at what Chris says. Work on it. Work on it, because the language leaves the clues for how to step into success when we're not focusing on the comfort zone. Diane comes in. You'll be fine. Just do it. There it is. That practice and repetition. Jump in. I have a low degree of proficiency. Work on it. Practice and repetition. Become proficient. Chris, winner, chicken dinner. Look at you go. Thank you so much. And Diane, if you go to MIT, you can write your own check. Right. So that gets into a little bit more of like the motivation piece. But when we break apart and we speak specifically to, this is hard. This feels hard. Okay, now accurately, how do I want to say this? I have a low degree of proficiency. Then all of a sudden, I have a way to get to the promised land. I have a way to cut my own key so I can have my own keys of the kingdom. In that place of recognizing I have a low degree of proficiency, then the answer is increase your proficiency through practice and repetition. Or like Chris is saying, become proficient. Or like Diane is saying, you'll be fine. Just do it. Yes. Yes. So this is how you step out of the comfort zone and stay out of it, is through using your language as that rudder. You dig into the ocean, and like Moana, you're going to flip that boat right around because of your language. If it's easy, you know that there are some things that are easy that have kicked your booty. So you don't say, oh, this is easy, and you put it out of your mind. You say, this is easy. I have a high degree of, this feels easy. I have a high degree of proficiency in it. And I know if I don't deliver this, then it can sabotage the project. Bring me back on 2 up here. We were talking about this with you and Jenna the other day.
Yeah.
Around when I get some of these blanket proposals on LinkedIn and they misspell my name.
Right.
What? Like that? What?
Right.
You didn't have a degree of proficiency there. You were putting yourself out there and maybe getting out of your comfort zone. But increasing your proficiency is also having that accuracy. Something that was easy, like looking at the spelling of someone's name before you go to pitch them. It was very quick. I almost want to get like a little stamp for the side of my. Do you remember that? Like in World War II, they had like how many aircraft they had shot down, and they had it all like as a stamp on the side of the aircraft. Did you ever know that?
I mean, I didn't know it was a stamp. It was just like a paint stroke, wasn't it?
A little decal. Yeah. Like I want to start getting like a little, like, here's all the proposals that I've killed because they didn't pay attention to detail.
Right.
Like, yep. We're up to 1,000 killed proposals here because they didn't take the time to do something that is easy in looking at how to spell someone's name. They didn't even get a conversation with me. They didn't even get a response from me. It's delete. If it was a connection, I'm breaking that connection at that point. It's a done deal.
Yeah. So
in recognizing what is easy, you see that you have a high degree of proficiency in it, but you don't dismiss it because it's easy. How's that landing?
Yeah, no, that's good. And I think I'm in a similar position now as I have more students and more YouTube channel subscribers, and there's just a lot of opportunity, which is awesome, but it's really easy to weed them out when they're, you can tell it's a templated response to that. What
completely,
again, could have been easy, right?
Could have been easy.
Yeah.
And they punted it into the stands because they didn't have that awareness of how to serve with excellence. Diane, having to reinvent yourself after no mojo for a while. Well, don't worry about the mojo. Leave that to Austin Powers. Come in and get the moto with us every Monday. We're working with some different times. Make sure that you go to DerekMitchell.com and scroll all the way to the bottom and get on his email list.
So
that way you
keeps
can be aware.
to put that subscription up at the top. I hate pop-ups and opt-ins, so I buried it in the bottom. So if you want to subscribe to my newsletter, you really have to want to do it because you got to hunt for it. But if you go to derekmitchell.com, scroll all the way to the bottom, you can opt in there. And that's something I'd like to do better at. And currently, I'll send emails. I've got some when you opt in, you're going to get some cool resources for graphic designers. And then when I go live, I make sure to send you guys an email. But there's so much more that I want to be curating and sending out to my subscribers.
Sure.
That will be probably after baby gets here. Maybe in May, we're going to ramp up a lot more resources with the email newsletters. So definitely stay tuned for a lot more with that. But there are some freebies that'll get at you right away as soon as you opt in. So check that out.
Right. You know, I would love this with Diane, especially because she's like, I hit the like button. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Please go over to YouTube and do the same. It really helps us get this out there because we're not making any money on this. This is cutting into our days. It's cutting into our time that we have billable hours or projects to advance for our clients. This is a passion project for us. We came together in December of just looking at how can we serve? Well, let's go live. Let's go. Well, this is going to be hard with all of the tech.
This is before I had a full-time job again.
Right.
And before you had some significant clients sign on. So this is a big deal to hold this space. But what's cool, we're building proficiency. Going live is a lot easier than it used to be. When we first started, there were tech gremlins like crazy. There was choppy video feeds. There was 5 videos because it kept crashing. We would restart the stream. Like it was rough.
I think Chris was around for some of that.
Yeah.
Because we've had some people just weather the storm with us. So let's come back to the language piece here. This does take a little bit of additional wordiness. If you wanted to be fun, you could say verbose in your language because you're making a shift in your mind. If you want the power of positive thinking, well, how do you get there? Well, it's time to dig that rudder in, use your language to help turn your mindset around. So when you say, just like we've taken a look at today, when you say, I am facing this graduate school application and I don't have a high degree of proficiency in it, all of a sudden, like we had the chat roll coming in, well, just do it. Jump in, take a look at it, increase your proficiency. Some other options might be find an expert. Find someone who can help you navigate this space, because then that thing that is hard or you're lacking proficiency in, you get to grow because of someone else's proficiency. I feel like that's a good opportunity to talk about your vault as a quick aside.
Yeah,
because
that not just the vault. That's
there.
great. Yeah. So also it's the story. If you, what's his name? Is it Simon Sinek? Is that the right one? No, he started with Y. Anyway, but talking about the story and how every movie's so predictable because they have that guy.
Oh, Donald Miller does the
story brand. That's who I'm thinking of. I'm mixing up my books. That's what happens when you read lots of books, which is great. That's a whole nother topic we'll talk about later.
Topic.
The downside of mushing all those frameworks together, like you were saying. And I just squirreled off. I'm sorry, man. Bring me back in.
So we were talking about the hero's journey and
the vault. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So along those lines, I mean, this is a real example of me going, off into space here. And so I've got my wife that helps me with a lot of this. I will write things down on paper. So when I go into the computer to do something, when I get distracted by notifications that I didn't turn off or by other things, I have a list to follow. The other part of that is once you've created something, sometimes it's really nice to have that feedback or to have that person who can come alongside you and help with that. And so there's a couple things that I've developed to help with that. The first is what I call the vault or the graphic design vault or the graphic design bootcamp vault. It's got a lot of names. It's the same thing. Basically, it's the vault of every course that I've ever made, and it gives you direct access to me through a Slack group. So if you go to derekmitchell.com/vault, VAULT, you can see that. It's a really, it's pretty actually inexpensively
It's robust.
priced. Yeah,
Like
but it's got everything that I've ever done. Yeah,
Right.
and so you can join that and get access to those, so you can follow along at your own pace. But then when you get stuck, you can reach out to me and I can help you. And then we've got our graphic design. It's Complete Graphic Design is the Facebook group. So if I go to facebook.com/groups/complete graphic design, there's about 17,000 members right now. Yeah. And so we even have a mentorship program where you can be a mentor. We talked about this last week. What was it? Mentor, or what was the other word?
Protege.
Protege. Yeah. And so basically you can sign up to be a mentor, or you can sign up to get help from a mentor, somebody who's maybe just a little bit further than you. And you don't have to be that far in your career to be a mentor. You can just be just a step or two ahead of this other person that you're helping them see around the corner. Right. So go check that out at facebook.com/groups/complete graphic design. And check it out. It's a great place to post your work and get feedback on things you're working on. It's a great place to ask for help, whether it's technology related or, what computer should I buy to be a photographer, right? Stuff like that. So anyway, it's a really, really cool, really cool spot. So, and Diane, for jumping in, I want to give you access to the Graphic Design Bootcamp if you're not already a member to that. So email, I'm going to put it in here real quick. It's completegraphicdesign@gmail.com. Making sure I spelled that right. Diane, send me an email and I'll hook you up with that course.
There it is.
Anyway, so check that out. But, that's huge. Having that Facebook group is huge. And again, I deleted Instagram and Facebook from my phone because it was so distracting for me personally. I had a hard time with it. And then there was the privacy issues that they have. And then there was just the fact that I'm an emotional creative and I'd see things happening and I just couldn't work the rest of the day. So for me, I turned it off, but I still jump into the Facebook group when I need that extra help and that extra support. So check that out. It's definitely an easy way to jump in and either be a help to somebody or get that help when you need it. So check that out when you get a minute. But thank you, Paul, for bringing that up. Yeah, I appreciate that.
Absolutely. Well, and are you able to see Behance chat yet today?
I am. Yeah, I see it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Because Diane, here it is. Like you say, I need a mentor, and there you go. Like Derek's one of the top guys in the business, and with the access to Graphic Design Bootcamp, and then you get into the Facebook group, you're going to be able to connect with some people and really help you advance faster than you could on your own, because they have varying degrees of proficiency, and they're going to be able to help you gain your proficiency a lot faster than going through like the school of hard knocks. Well, I learned from this one because this thing didn't work, and then I did this other thing and that didn't work. So then, no, you get to learn from all of these other beautiful people. So excited that you have that. Be sure to send that email. Chris, thanks, man. You guys have become my favorite streamers on Behance. Your advice has been uplifting and helpful. Thank you so much for being here, Chris. We're wrapping up today's stream in about 10 minutes. Derek and I both have some additional appointments today. Would you do us a favor and please reach out to some people that you know in the community and let them know that we have this out here. We want to serve people, especially as we're in a pandemic, especially as you have a mission to get your art into the world. We want to support you, and we could use some help. Help us get the message out there that we're here to serve.
Chris, I want to hook you up too. So email also completegraphicdesign@gmail.com. If you might have already emailed, guys, I apologize. Baby brain, we're not sleeping much at night right now. So if you've already emailed and I haven't gotten back to you, feel free to reach out again and say, hey, did you forget about me? No, didn't forget. My wife did. I'm going to run her right over that. No, I'm just kidding. No, but
You're
it's important.
Big game when she's not in the room. I'm just going to go ahead and
she's
call
in the kitchen.
out.
She can probably hear me. But we got a good question I want to get to here in a second if we've got just 5 minutes before we close. Okay. But Chris, I want to hook you up as well if you haven't already. So let me know. So last question, do we have time? I know we got to wrap us up here pretty soon.
Let's do it. Okay.
Diane asks, how do you guys deal with rejection? So Paul, I'll let you tee it up.
Not everybody likes jazz flute.
Right.
It was a conversation I had with my mentor, a couple months ago, as we were talking about different opportunities that I had to be able to connect with international executives to help them increase their revenue by first developing their people and not their profits. Not all executives that are functioning at the international level want to do it that way. And that's okay. Not everybody likes jazz flute. So as I approach people and I say, hey, I know that I can help you increase your revenue by first developing your people and not your profits. And that's going to lead to longer, sustainable, and even higher revenue goals than what you're currently achieving. Would you be interested in a call? And some of them say no. And I say, okay, well, if there's anything else I can help you out with, please let me know. I'm happy to help. Not everybody likes jazz flute, Diane, especially in this place of creation, in this place of art. And so recognize that they might not be, they're not rejecting you. They're saying no thanks to your work, your approach, and that's okay. Not everybody wants to do art like Andy Warhol or Ansel Adams. Art is enhanced because we have those extreme differences. So if you have somebody that said no, recognize it's to your work. Oh, super hilarious freeze face. Recognize it's with your work. And not everybody likes jazz flute, and that's going to be okay.
I brought myself back just because you were freezing there.
I know.
So that's really, really great advice. And I know we got to go here soon, so I'll lob something in real quick too. How do you deal with rejection? I struggle with it because I'm a people pleaser. I'm an extrovert, and I want everybody to love me, if we're being honest. And I think most people do, but I luckily have an amazing partner, my wife, who helps me, pull myself up right when I'm feeling beat up or rejected. And so not everybody has that person in their life who can do that. So another shout out to the Facebook group. If you get a chance to jump in, it's another great place. If you're feeling rejected about something, that's a great place to share your story and get feedback. On a practical level, I think I'm at a point now where I guess I still get rejected sometimes. There's been some different, whether it's a blogger or a YouTuber or somebody I've reached out with to collab with, and it just didn't work out. And I was like, it's kind of sucks, whatever. You move on. And again, you got to keep those people in your life who can help you when you're feeling beat up about it. Because if you let your mind, again, dwell on that stuff, it's a real easy way to spiral quickly. So, maybe it's physically going out for a walk or going to have a bike ride or whatever you got to do to, not let yourself spiral. Right. So guys, that's all the time we have for you this week, Paul, unless there's anything else you want to throw out here.
I would say the final piece is it's not about convincing someone who has already told you no or rejected you. It's not about convincing them to a yes.
Yeah.
It's recognizing that, honoring it, and moving to someone who does say yes to you right off the bat.
Awesome. Guys, don't forget to check out Paul's website, paulgowan.com. I'm going to throw up, there you go. That's how you spell it. paulgowan.com.
GOWIN.
Go win. Go check him out.
out.
He also has a special, it's still up there, I think, paulgowan.com/graphic design if you want to check out a special promotion he has for you. Thank you guys so much for tuning in today, and be sure to like and subscribe on whichever platform you're watching this on today, and we will see you guys next week.
Next Monday.